everyone.
Hello.
Welcome to another lesson. This one is on ecotourism, week 26, eco countries and cities.
So here, the do now, ecotourism. Ecotourism allows us to have protected nature areas which can make money. So people like to visit beautiful places and see interesting animals. Then ecotourism can help protect nature and also bring money and jobs to local people and small villages.
Okay, so before we start the lesson, think about whether or not you have heard of an ecotourist concept in Thailand. What is the most famous ecotourist destination that people go to in Thailand that allows you to visit a nature area, see beautiful animals, and still make money? Okay, and we will tell you more about that in the next few slides.
Here to do now, what is ecotourism?
Hey, welcome back from that video. Today we will learn about ecotourism to be able to compare the roles and duties of local administrations and those of the central government. Then tell in brief the relationship of the ASEAN group together with speaking, writing to express opinions about various matters around them.
Okay, so vocabulary, the first one is tour. So it can be a verb and a noun. I make a tour, or the tour guide. Make a tour. So if you go to the city, you visit the city and you want to do a tour. So it's like to visit the city with making a loop or circuit.
So second is tourism. So tourism is a noun and it basically means the whole traveling process. Okay. So the traveling industry is also called the tourism industry. Okay, so tourism is a very big revenue generator for Thailand.
Okay, then you have number 3, a trip. The noun, the trip. Say this weekend I do a trip in the mountain. So it's like a journey to go somewhere to visit, a trip. Can be by car, can be by bike, can be by bus, or even by flight.
Number 4 is local. So local means close to your area. Okay, so the local school, the local office. Okay, it is sort of the opposite of international.
And the last one, administration. Administration. So this one is the noun. You have also the word administration in CRPAO. So it's can be a foundation, can be a company, can be a group. So it's administration.
Okay, so now we'll watch a video on the ASEAN and why it is important for Southeast Asia, and we'll see you on the other side of this video.
In February 2016, the United States hosted its first ever summit for the Association of Southeast Asian Nations, or ASEAN. The meeting was part of President Obama's efforts to strengthen economic and security ties with Southeast Asia. The US's interest in ASEAN has grown significantly in recent years as tensions rise over the highly disputed South China Sea. So what is ASEAN, and why is it important for Southeast Asia? Well, ASEAN is a political and economic alliance of 10 countries. The group's 5 original member states, Indonesia, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, and Thailand, founded ASEAN in 1967 during the height of the Vietnam War. At the time, many Southeast Asian governments were at war with their respective communist-led guerrilla groups, and leaders became increasingly concerned over the region's political vulnerability. So they formed an alliance to not only secure the region against the threat of communism, but to give Southeast Asia a cohesive voice on Cold War issues. Since the fall of the Soviet Union, ASEAN has shifted its focus to international trade, border security, and collaboration with neighboring countries like China and South Korea. For instance, member states' GDPs range anywhere from roughly $11 to $888 billion, but collectively their GDP is about $2.5 trillion, rivaling that of France and the United Kingdom. But when it comes to military strength, each ASEAN member is relatively powerless on its own. Although ASEAN has not fully integrated its military, they have already begun to collaborate on regional security threats, like North Korea's nuclear program and the territorial dispute over the South China Sea. For decades, China has tried to take ownership of much of this area, despite conflicting claims from several member states. ASEAN has repeatedly attempted to resolve this issue, but has thus far failed. The South China Sea conflict has jeopardized diplomatic relations between member states, as several are heavily influenced by China. ASEAN's lack of coherence on the issue has led to criticism of the group's supposedly weak leadership and disjointed priorities. Despite these differences of opinion over the South China Sea, however, ASEAN is striving to create a distinct Southeast Asian identity by 2020, meaning that citizens belonging to these member states would identify themselves not by their nationality, but by calling themselves ASEAN. So, how important is ASEAN? Well, this powerful economic alliance, coupled with Southeast Asia's growing consumer base, has attracted interest from all over the world, including the United States. When President Obama took office in 2009, the US made a strategic pivot to strengthen relations with Asia and even hosting ASEAN's biannual summit on US soil. And as China continues to expand its military and territorial claims, a united Southeast Asian front is more critical than it's ever been before. To do more episodes like this, we rely on our sponsors. This episode is brought to you by Domain.com. Thanks to recent changes in internet namespace, you're not just limited to .com or .org. You can register tons of new domains under .design, .club, and even .ninja. And because you know we love our TestTube audience, you can save 20% by using the coupon code TUBE at Domain.com's checkout. Make sure to check out more TestTube news videos, like this one about the fight to control the South China Sea.
For starters, the South China Sea is the second most used sea lane in the world and hosts a third of all overseas shipping.
Thanks for watching TestTube News. Make sure to like and subscribe for new videos every day.
Okay, so here are the 10 best ecotourism experience in Thailand.
Okay, so I had asked you a question about which is the number one ecotourism destination that you can think of. And in northern Thailand, everybody visits the elephant sanctuary. Okay, you can visit nature, you can see the animals, and it is also very good for the government and for the people to make revenue from this ecotourist destination. Okay? And in the south, you have the islands, you have kayaking, you have boat trips, people go out in the ocean. So all of those also are an important part of the ecotourism in Thailand.
And you have in Phuket some trekking, so you can see the nature and without destroying the nature. And then you have the water eco adventure, so it's like kayaking. You go on the river and you can visit and see how it works.
Okay, so watch the following video and take some notes on what green actions you can take when you're traveling.
ASEAN is growing. Within the next decade, 700 million people are expected to call this region home. Managing that growth will be vital. The Master Plan on ASEAN Connectivity 2025 provides the framework to deliver growth that will benefit the people of ASEAN. It sets out a vision to connect the region, building the physical ties that bind us, bringing our institutions closer together, and connecting the people of ASEAN with each other. Any successful community building efforts must rest upon sustainable foundations. Sustainable infrastructure investment will form the basis for a better tomorrow to meet the needs of a fast-growing ASEAN. Our infrastructure investments will have to increase significantly.
What kind of infrastructure that we need to connect? Road, rail, air, and sea. Once you are able to connect not only the city, between the city and within the village, then the farmers, the people who live in the rural area can get benefit of selling their products, improve their quality of life.
ASEAN will increase public and private infrastructure investment across the 10 member states. We will evaluate and support projects which offer the greatest benefit to ASEAN by encouraging investment, supporting construction, and mobilizing vital resources to ensure success. The goal is a sustainable, connected ASEAN that will offer a better quality of life for all.
ฉะนั้นจึงว่าได้ว่าการก่อสร้างพื้นฐานของรางแม้นมีความจำเป็นต่อกับการพัฒนาเศรษฐกิจสังคมของสปป.ลาวในเงื่อนไขที่สปป.ลาวบ่มีชายแดนติดกับทะเลแต่พวกเขาถือสำคัญการพัฒนาพื้นฐานของรางที่ประกอบส่วนเขาในเรื่องงานต่างๆในแขนงการของท่าแห้งของสปป.ลาวเพื่อเสริมโยงกับประเทศอาเซียนในพ่อแม่พวกเขา
The Master Plan will help to share best practices on infrastructure productivity in ASEAN and to identify opportunities to improve infrastructure. It will clearly lay out the steps to achieve more cost-effective, productive infrastructure development in the region. Bridging together the people of ASEAN is a vital component towards creating an environment for increased productivity in transport, travel, and trade in sub-regional arrangements to advance the remote regions within ASEAN.
In the Nile region, in the way it's located in the Nile region, there is a lot of natural resources, for example, fishing industry, railway industry, and mining industry. By connecting the road connectivity, we can free movement between ASEAN countries and Myanmar communities, especially. Now, Asia starting, so we can free flow of goods and services between Myanmar and ASEAN countries.
Building an ASEAN for the future requires delivering modern infrastructure to meet tomorrow's challenges. By 2030, 90 million more people will call our cities home. To manage this, the Master Plan on ASEAN Connectivity 2025 will help to deploy smart and effective urbanization models across the region. That means learning from each other while understanding the challenges unique to each urban environment, enhance sharing and adoption of experiences in developing sustainable practices, delivering smart transport, and building better places to live.
ASEAN is rapidly urbanizing, with megacities like Bangkok, Manila, and Jakarta. The challenge is how to have livable and sustainable high-density cities. Livability with density comes from making a city green or blue, even as it urbanizes with vertical greenery, rooftop gardens, park connectors, and a green heart in the city, like our gardens by the bay. Above all, cities can learn from each other.
Building a smarter future means delivering infrastructure in a sustainable way for future generations. The Master Plan on ASEAN Connectivity 2025, delivering sustainable infrastructure for today and tomorrow.
This is ASEAN, a multitude of lands to be discovered, possessing one of the richest and most diverse natural and cultural heritages in the world. ASEAN counts some of the most beautiful and unique landscapes on the planet, including UNESCO geoparks, stretching from mountains rising to nearly 6,000 meters, volcanoes, karst landscapes, and some of the world's most pristine forests, amazing flora and fauna, to the mighty Mekong River with Asia's largest waterfall, and seascapes that take the breath away. Whatever type of ecotourism you're looking for, you'll find it in ASEAN. Trek through mysterious jungles, past giant bamboos, experience luxuriant ecosystems, cross torrents in a real-life adventure, far from LED screens and their colored pixels, bravely exploring and discovering, inventing your own adventure. Now stop. Listen to the sounds of the wildlife. Across the ASEAN forests, in the trees and thick undergrowth, in the steamy swamps and mangroves, there's an incredibly rich fauna. For birdwatchers, Southeast Asia is a paradise, with unusual and fascinating birds across all its territory. ASEAN boasts some of the most extraordinary animal life. If you really want to get closer to a big mammal, ride an elephant across forests and streams. You will be greeted by hospitable communities that are off the beaten track, with living traditions, people that have walked these lands for centuries and know their secrets and hidden treasures. Experience authentic lifestyles, unique ethnic groups, strange customs, and taste traditional meals enriched by natural products found locally. ASEAN counts over 100,000 kilometers of coastline, with enormously different seascapes. Find a paradise for diving, from world-renowned diving destinations to a coral reef covering 40,000 square kilometers, and yet-to-be-explored submarine landscapes. Adventure tourism and sports are everywhere in ASEAN, for all categories of expertise and age. Explore the strange and spectacular scenes of numerous cave systems, forming underground rivers, enormous caverns, and beautiful formations of stalactites and stalagmites. Above ground, there are exciting treetop adventures, with visits to the canopy of forests that allow you to observe these unique ecosystems, and zip lines that send you flying through the trees, or soaring across great waterfalls. Beautiful rivers and lakes offer more adventure, from rafting on turbulent tributaries running off mountain slopes to kayaking on slow-flowing rivers through fertile plains, or even just lazing around on a tube and letting the gentle currents carry you. The incredible variety and natural beauty of ASEAN is an open invitation to eco-travelers to experience nature and live in an adventure in an interconnected network of ecotourism sites transcending borders and ecosystems, enabling travelers, explorers, and adventurers to go deep into the heart of these fascinating lands. Come and explore and live passionate experiences that will leave lasting memories of this amazing region that is ASEAN.
Okay, welcome back from the video. So now we have another concept, which is over-tourism. So what do you think over-tourism means?
So So here, this is Mona Lisa, one of the most famous paintings in the world. So painted by artist genius Leonardo da Vinci between 1503 and 1517. You see the picture. Here's the painting on a normal day. So here you see it's over tourism. It means there's a lot of tourism, and it's also not good for the environment when it's too much tourists.
Okay, so we'll send you a link on over tourism, so make sure you read it because it'll help you with the thinking tool. Okay. And now here is an image. This is a massive painting. As you can see, it covers an entire wall. It is called the Wedding Feast at Cana. And this painting is on the other side of the Mona Lisa. So if you're taking a picture of the Mona Lisa, this picture is behind, and it is also a very famous picture. But because of over-tourism, nobody gets a chance to see this picture. Okay? Everyone is so focused on the Mona Lisa that they miss the big picture. Okay? So this is also what over-tourism does, is that sometimes it changes your focus to something else, and you could miss something which is so beautiful, which is just in your sight. So think about over-tourism and think about how it connects to ecotourism.
Okay, so think of the benefits of ecotourism and also think of the negative of the ecotourism. Then here we come to the thinking tool. So consider if everyone is in Asian, go for ecotour more.
Okay, so this is you have to draw a CAF. You have to think about the relationship with neighboring countries. Is ecotourism good for relationship or not? What should the local administration do to promote more ecotourism? Okay, how is it good for the environment? And is it good or bad for the tourism industry? Okay, so think about all these points and prepare this thinking tool on an A4 size paper.
What can we do to be eco-friendly while traveling? We have all the answers from the lesson, so try to remember and write it on your notebook. And then don't forget to write it in English and in Thai.
And finally, don't forget to do the CAF, which is your thinking tool, and do that on an A4 size paper.
Okay, see you for the next lesson. Bye-bye.
Bye.